start with this presentation today. Eventually send you some credentials for those that are interested to go in and test for yourself, see how the feature works, get familiar with it before we can actually deploy it and expose it to customers. This will give us some time to answer questions or just get familiar with the functionality. So I will get started here, and if you have a question, feel free to just speak up, and I'll try to answer right there. So I am going to share my screen. Hope you can see my screen now, right?
Yep, we can see it, Peter.
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you. And I will start that volume discounts is something that you can turn on an individual core. You don't need any institutional settings. And as far as I know, this won't be offered at additional price. So every interested core could have this feature turned on. To turn volume discounts on, you need to go to the administration tab of a core, then other settings, and then under scheduling, you would select the advanced option. And here under advanced, enable volume discounts for equipment. You need to check this to yes and then go ahead and save. Okay. Once you do that, once you save, once you enable volume discounts, all you need to do is refresh the page. And then when you go to the schedule equipment tab, you will see under the more button today, there will be a new option that says manage volume discounts. Now, before you can see volume discounts actually working, you need to set up your volume discount groups and a few more settings. So this is what we're going to do. First, when you click on manage volume discounts, you will be presented with a page. It will be blank. You won't have any volume discount groups. I have few in my core here. And then there will be the option to add a new discount group as well as the settings. So you would like to start with the settings. There are just three very simple settings. They're applicable to all the discounts at the core. So those would apply for all the core. Can be different down the road, but they're usually very consistent with the institutional settings. So those usually once set, they don't need to be changed. The first setting will determine how to apply a discount. Does the core offer discount per user, or the core offers a discount per lab? So it doesn't matter which user of the lab is using the equipment, all of their usage might be counting towards reaching a threshold after which that group will get a discount. So here in this first drop down, you will select per user or per lab. For my staging environment, I have it set it up per user. And then the next thing, normally when an institution or a core will give volume discount, they will start giving that discount after reaching a certain threshold. Now, how do we reach the threshold? Do we reach it by hours used or money spent? This is something that you will determine here on this setting. So those are the two options, either as we accumulate hours or as we spend money. The last option will be, of course, a customer or a lab will at some point reach a threshold and they will start getting a discount. But then when do they stop getting a discount? This is your period of the discount, which for now is pretty fixed. It's monthly, quarterly, or annually. Now, pay attention here. This might be a problem for some of your customers because our current version 1 setup allows only for fixed periods. When you select a month, this will count from the first of the month to the end of the month of the calendar month. Quarterly, that would be the first 3 months, second 3 months, third 3 months, or the last 3 months of the year. And annually will start from January 1st and end in December 31st. This might not be the billing cycle of some of our customers, so this might be an issue, so keep this in mind that this is what we offer for version 1 at this point. And I have my period set in monthly in staging because it's easy to test how you could accumulate usage towards a threshold, get a discount, then the next month starts, you start from the beginning, you don't get a discount in the beginning, right? So once you set up those settings, they're automatically saved. No need to click save. You just close this window and then you go ahead and create your discount group. And I will explain what is the discount group just in a moment. So you will click this create a new discount group button. And this is a wizard-like place where you will need to give your discount group a name, calendar with 2 availabilities. Could be the name of my discount group, and it is a test discount group. I can give it a description. The description is optional, of course. And then you click continue. You technically have 3 things to complete in this discount group. Besides giving it a name, you have to specify which equipments at the core you want to include in this discount group. Now, at the core, it might be very simple. They have 5 pieces of equipment and they apply the same discount to all of them, right? In this case, you will just create 1 discount group and include all your pieces of equipment in the same group because the same discount would apply, right? This means that if a user creates usage at one of the calendar and then at another one, I mean, usage at any of the calendars included at the discount group count towards reaching the threshold when the user will start getting a discount. Now, if the core says, well, the user needs to reach 10 hours at the individual instrument to get a discount, then you have to create 5 separate groups for each one of the instruments at that core, for example. You could include an instrument only in 1 discount group, right? And this is normal because you will set your discount thresholds and rates, and if the same equipment is included in multiple discount groups, then there might be confusion on what discount I apply, right? So the system is restricted to include a piece of equipment in only discount group, and here you will see the pieces of equipment available, the equipments that are included in this current discount group, as well as other equipments at the core that are already part of other discount groups. And you saw that at my setup, I have all these included in other discount groups, so this is the only available equipment that I have. I will check it, click this little arrow, and it will put it into the current discount group. Then I'm going to go ahead and click continue, and this will pull all the price types available with this equipment and also all the availabilities that this equipment has. And here I would be able to determine if I would apply a discount, I would give a discount to any price class or some of the price classes. Maybe I give discount only to internal users, but to corporate users I don't, right? In this case I won't check them. And then availabilities. Well, some people say during the day or in peak hours I won't give a discount because everybody wants to schedule then, but during the night, I call it lazy hours, I do give a discount. So you can check which availabilities you want to give a discount to, and then you will go ahead and continue. And the last step is for you to determine your discount thresholds and rates. In other words, how many hours or how much money spent does a user need to reach a point when they start getting a discount? And in my case, this is hours reached. This is already in the settings that I showed you. So here we are counting hours, and you can see hours. From 0 to 10, or you can put 100, 1,000, it depends what the institution says. Normally the first threshold will be 0% discount. That means when the user starts scheduling with me, I don't give them a discount right away, but then I can add a new threshold, which will be, let's say, between 10 and everything above 10. Let's say I give them 10% discount. But you could even be more generous and say, well, actually between 10 and 20 hours, I give them 10% discount, but after 20 hours, I make that technically half price, so I give them 50% discount. You can go ahead and you can list as many thresholds as you want. Normally, institutions or a course operate with 1 or 2 thresholds. It depends on the client. And once this is done, you go ahead and click Finish and Return, and this will have your new discount group set. It will appear on the bottom, and there is this active button that remember to check active, so practically the discount could start being applied. Now, if you go ahead and uncheck this, this will no longer apply a discount. I guess this could be useful sometimes when an institution starts, there is a summer break. In the summer break, let's say they allow few schedules, but they don't give a discount. You can temporarily turn off that discount and then go back and turn it on. Here on this page, you will see a list of all the different discount groups at the core, and you can always go back, click Edit, and change some of them. For example, you have a new piece of instrument, come and include this new piece of instrument. Or the new fiscal year comes and you used to offer 15% discount, but your costs are not going very well, so you want to lower discount to 10% or something like that. Now, we do not advise changing the discount group setup so very often. Once a year it might be necessary, sometimes more often if you need to add a new piece of equipment or something. But for now, what we advise is to let your customers know, go ahead and confirm all your usage, bill what is up to this discount setup, and then change your discount, and then all the new reservations started will adopt the new, either the new percent, the new rate, or the new group of equipment. Today, if you make changes to a discount group and you already have reservations that are not confirmed or that are confirmed, the changes to the discount group will not be reflected on those reservations. They will still keep the old discounts. So keep that in mind when you implement this feature with your clients. And just here is probably the place to say the discount is kind of sealed when the reservation is confirmed. And I will give you some examples. I will show you a few things, how the discount could actually be flexible before a reservation is confirmed. And I will give you an example with money spent. If somebody wants to trick the system, they create a reservation. Let's say the core offers a discount after $100 spent. They could create a reservation up to $100, then create a new one that gets a discount, and they can go ahead. They can go back and delete the first reservation, thinking that the second one will stay with the discount. Well, no, the discount is smart. It will recalculate that reservation to actually not give them a discount because it's the only one left. So technically, again, the discount is sealed after the reservation is confirmed, after the event has passed. Now is also the place to say that besides these 4 categories that a core manager on the client side will see, an iLab employee will see another option, and I'm going to click Edit on one of the discount groups, now logged in as an iLab employee. And besides Edit Discount Thresholds, this is where we stopped the last time. There is this Advanced Discount Threshold and Rates, which allows some flexibility for the setup of some of the customers, but this interface is only available for iLab employees, so we don't really have core managers going in and messing up this a lot. But what it offers is something really nice. It offers granularity to provide different discounts for different, number one, different price classes, and number two, for different availabilities. So here you can see this simple setup of 0 to 10 hours, no discount, 10 to 20 hours, 10% discount, above 20 hours, 60% discount. Well, in the advanced grouping, you can technically say that, let's say, external customers will get this rate, but internal customers will get maybe they will get 100% discount after 20 hours, and that will apply only for internal. And then additionally, based on all the availabilities that the discount is applied to, you can select from this is an availability and this is another availability. You can select and say, well, this availability gets 50-60% discount, but for this availability, I will give only, let's say, 30% discount. So you can add additional granularity here. Go ahead and save that, and this will work just fine. Again, this interface we don't expose to clients. Now, just for simplicity, down the road, I'm going to change this back, but we have already tested it with Lisa and Elliot, and they have seen how this is really nicely working. So I'm gonna go ahead and click finish and return. I think there is a comment here, so oh yeah, thanks, Ms. Jenny. Yeah, we try to preserve this functionality, allowing some flexibility as well. So the next thing I'm going to show you is, once we have our discount group active, how is this actually working practically on a calendar? And I am going to open my next tab, and actually I'm gonna come here and just
Hey Peter, can I ask you a couple of questions about the settings before you move on to showing how it works?
Absolutely, go ahead, Danny.
I just want to make sure I understood when you were talking about groupings that equipment can only be included in one group. Is that what I understood?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
and then the other question I have about the threshold, does it have to start at 0? Or can you have your first threshold start at $50 or 50 hours to 100 hours or something like that?
Well, then that's a good question, but what happens for the first 50 hours?
No discount, right?
That's the setup here. So technically from 0 to whatever you determine, you say 0. This is the 0 rate, the discount rate.
So you have to start at 0.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have a 0. Well, this technically allows you to give a discount to all the usage, and say the first 100 hours, let's say, are 50% discount, and then above that everything is free. You can even do that.
Sure, but you can't start. You can't start your from at, like. I guess my question is, like, if you just left out that first line and right from 0 to 10, 0 discount, and just had your first line say 10 to 20 is 10% off, that you can't do that.
Yeah, you can do that. The good thing is that the first 10 hours, technically this is 0 discount. So when you make a reservation, the reservation will not be any different from a regular reservation without the discount. It won't really say 0% discount.
Okay.
So when it comes to functionality, I don't see it really different from what you expect to be.
Okay.
But will it cause an error if you don't have that from 0 to like 10 hours?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting at.
Right. The 0 is grayed out, so you can change it, and you always start with building your first line of threshold. So it starts with 0. You can't really change it.
Got it. Okay, that's what I was getting at. That's what I was trying to understand. You have to start at 0. Okay.
That's a good point, because if you make any mistake on a discount group, this discount group, you won't be able to turn it on. There will be this red triangle, and when you hover your mouse over it, it will tell you what's the problem. And here I have a discount group started with a lot of problems, and some of them are you need to have at least one threshold, or you need to have at least one equipment. right? Or you need to have at least one price class, because without either one of those, the discount group is technically not valid. If you try to put a discount rate above 100%, it's technically not valid either. So you will get a message for that, and it will tell you you have to go ahead and correct your rates. One of them is over 100, and I can maybe demonstrate to one of those. Let me click edit. And here, let me say this is not a 50, but 150. When I try to say that, it practically gives me this red warning. So right here, I can check it, but if I go ahead and continue and just save it as it is, this discount group will also be marked as invalid. I won't be able to switch on this one, and it says discount rate should be less than or equal to 100. So I'll go ahead, edit it, and then this will let me make it active after that. So
Hey, Peter.
yeah.
I have a question too. So maybe I missed a step here, but if you go back to where we were at 0 to 10 hours,
Yeah.
those are already calculated by the month or the threshold rate. So this is 0 to 10 hours per month or per quarter before that discount starts. Is that right?
That is correct, and that depends on the setting that you initially set up. They apply to all discount groups.
Okay.
And why I started with the setting, you have to set up your settings first, because when you create your discount group here, it will either say hours or dollars, depending if you select hours versus money spent, right? And then the period is also the same, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Or we can just start scheduling, see how that works. So this is the calendar of the new this is the calendar of the new group that I created with you, and according to those settings, the first 10 hours I should not be getting any discount. And I want to show you that. I'm going to go ahead and it doesn't have to be an exact hour, but I think here I schedule 8 hours. So I schedule those for David Adams. Let's say I expect those first 8 hours to have no discount. And you can see $10 is the hourly rate for internal users. So 8 hours at $10, $80, no discount here. And I'm gonna go ahead and save that reservation. And now I'm going to make another reservation here for, let's say, 4 hours. So here, what I would expect, since my threshold is 10 hours and I already have 8, 2 hours should be at regular price, and then I reach the threshold. So the rest of my reservation should be discounted. Even though this is the same reservation, the system breaks it up for me. So I select David Adams, making sure it's the same user, click next. And in the use and cost of reservations, you can definitely see this clear 2 hours at 10, counting towards the 10 hours threshold, and then whatever's next, it gets this 10% discount. And now if I, yeah, this is kind of in the past, so I'm gonna go ahead and save that reservation. There's a awesome comment, great. Making sure there's no question. So yeah, this is, and again, if you remember when I set up the discount group, I said peak hours don't get a discount. So just my lazy hours or night hours, they get a discount. And technically for David Adams, he's over the threshold. Now he's supposed to get a discount with every other reservation that he does until the end of April, at least. So what I'm going to do is just make another reservation here. Come on. for David. And this reservation definitely gets 10% discount because it's over the threshold. But now it gets it because it's lazy hours. Now, what would happen if I go ahead and change that to another, let's say, add some more, just demonstrating that if you change the time of a reservation and you save, the discount will be calculated accordingly. So now we have 6 hours, technically at 10% discount. Totals are correct. But what would happen if I change that reservation time to match the peak hours, where I don't get a discount normally because this availability doesn't really get a discount? So I'll make this reservation entirely during the peak hours. Go ahead and save. And the using cost of reservation will return back to $10 for peak hours where there is no discount. So wanted to demonstrate to you how this works. Now I want to do a few more demonstrations. This going to show you a discount group where I have multiple equipment. I think this was this one. And just showing you that in this discount group, I have 3 pieces of equipment. These 3. And now I'm going to schedule a reservation on one of them. This is one of the pieces of equipment. I'm going to make a reservation. 95, let's say 8-hour reservation for... I will try David again. Now, this is a new equipment. This is a different discount group from the previous one. So because it's a different discount group, I expect David to start without any discount from the beginning. And here it is, 95, using cost of reservation, just taking some time to load. Yay, so 8 hours at 10, no discount. I'm gonna save this reservation. So as David, I already have 8 hours on one piece of equipment. Now, what happens if I go to another piece of equipment that is part of the same discount group? I'm going to just click other schedules and go to this calendar, part of the same discount group. Technically, if I make a reservation as David Adams here, my reservation should start, I mean, the reservation that exceeds, of course, that is exceeds the threshold should technically start to calculate the discount. Five hours at 10. Yay. No, it didn't. Let me just check again the discount threshold just in case. It's over 10. It's almost impossible to have a presentation, a live presentation, and staging doesn't behave normally. Go ahead.
I have a quick question. Is it the case maybe here with this that it has to be in the past? So maybe that the previous 8 hours has to be confirmed, or does it matter?
Thank you, Seth. Oh, it doesn't have to be confirmed. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be confirmed. It just has to calculate those for you. Yeah, it's just a glitch. It's a staging glitch, and I did that in scenario before I demonstrate this to you guys, and it worked fine. So I felt comfortable showing it to you, but now it just failed me. Let me try to make it, well. Okay, this is not working for some reason. Let me check again. Well, I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna start from the big. Oh wait, what is this? 8 hours. Oh. Okay, so it did it the other way around. So, oh, maybe because this is on April 26th. This is April 27, no, 26 again, but later. Never mind. So I have a reservation for David Adams on this. No, this is a. Wait, this is not in the same discount group. Sorry guys, give me a second chance. Let me start all over again. So I will make a reservation on this. No discount, save it. The next one should. Okay, so it worked this time. So I have 10, 11, I have 5 hours and a half on this calendar, newest Bam Bam, whatever. And then I go to another calendar that is part of the same discount group. And here it shows me another 3 hours and a half plus plus 6 hours and a half. That counts towards the 10 at no discount. And then the rest of the reservation has a discount. So you can see this reservation now behaves correctly. I have 2 reservations on 2 separate calendars. And yeah, it's working fine. Something else that I wanted to show you, when we have 2 availabilities that are overlapping and one availability gets a discount, the other one doesn't. So when I open this reservation, for instance, why is this split? The first split is because I have reached the 10-hour threshold, so it splits the reservation. The next split is because I'm crossing availabilities on the calendar. Now, I have this full-time always available, while peak hours practically starting being available a little bit later. And the peak hours, as you remember, doesn't get a discount. So if I go ahead and here I have only full-time available, but later in the day I have part-time also available. If I check this part-time, this one doesn't have a discount. So this one will be calculated without the discount. Just wanted to show you that. Go ahead and save the reservation. Right, so one more thing I wanted to show you as well is recurring reservations. What if I want to make this event recurring? Will the following events follow the discount? Will they be different? How will that, what would happen? So if I go ahead and click enable, I will just add 2 more occurrences, total of 3, and save that reservation. you know, recurring events take some time to save, and they have been successfully saved. So you notice the first reservation is divided in 3. The second one, if I open, this will now continue to count the discount. Actually, here at this point, it reaches the second threshold. If you remember from our group, we have a second threshold above 20 hours that actually gets 60% discount. And you can see this here, that the next 5 hours are 60% discount. And here again, you can play with this and give it another availability. This will not count the discount, just like I showed you. Go ahead and save. And because we are above 20 hours, then I expect the next reservation to be 60% discounted for all the time, and this is the case. So I have tried to cover most of the scenarios here. Because of the time that we have allowed, I can't cover everything, but if you upload calendar reservations, then those calendar reservations also get discounted accordingly to, let me just say that, according to your discount thresholds, so there is no issue with that. If you also create reservations in kiosk, this is supposed to work exactly the same way. If you are throwing events on a request using the add event feature, then the event just either gets discounted or not, depending on how many hours the user have accumulated and what is the discount threshold. So all of the existing scenarios today in the system, as we have tested, work fine with volume discounts, and they're correctly displayed. Now, what happens with these reservations and these volume discounts all the way to an invoice? This is what I'm going to show you in the next few minutes left. So here I will go to confirm usage. And you can see here past events. The only difference in confirm usage that you will see is that the cost of the reservation now will reflect a discount if it's there. On this particular page, you don't see the exact percent of the discount or the rate, but you see the cost. And I can give you an example. For instance, here I have 3 hours, 3.75 hours at 10%. That would result in $37.50. But you can see the charge is different because a discount is maybe applied. Another example should be, I think here we have 575 hours at 10% discount. Some are lazy hours, some are peak hours. That means to part of the reservation a discount applies, to part it doesn't. And here is the total cost. And actually, if you go ahead and open this reservation here to see the total cost window, here you could see the discount. So as I said, this reservation is part of a availability that doesn't have a discount, and then it has an availability that does have a discount. You can see the discount rate, you can see the total, you can see the totals. And here in the usage types, you could actually see what are these availabilities. As we know, lazy hours, they get 10% discount, and the peak hours, they don't get any discount. So you can see details in confirm usage on the discounts as well. Now, because discounts are being sealed at the moment when you confirm the reservation, what we want you to teach your clients is to pay attention when they confirm. We are currently working on fixing some of the workflows down the road, but it will be very difficult if you confirm a reservation, bill for it, then you dispute it, you want to change the quantity or cancel it. For this to go back all the way, recalculate discounts and so forth, this will be very difficult. So for one thing we do after you confirm a reservation, we don't allow it to be deleted. So if they want to make changes, they would have to unconfirm it, make the change, and then confirm it again. That will recalculate a different discount maybe. This is one thing. And on refunds, if the invoice is already billed, but I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit later, we are having currently a task to make it possible to refund just the discounted, just the cost that the user has paid and not the original cost. These are still things we are working on. So once you confirm a reservation, I'm not going to confirm these because I need these to stay here for testing purposes in the staging environment. But once you confirm them, you can go under View Request. You can search for equipment scheduling requests. And here you can see those reservations confirmed to line items, service charges, and they look something like that. So here is another place where you can see the discount applied. Now for testing purposes, I have taxes enabled, I have subsidies enabled, so here you will see a lot. But you have your quantity, unit price, you have the original price, you have the discount, you have the price with the discount, and then you have a tax, and then you have a total. So in this particular scenario, you have a lot of things. The tax is applied over the price that the user has paid, not the original one. The same thing applies with the subsidies. We've tried to make this possible. Here we have a little visual glitch. The discount column is just not saving on charge or on line item that we don't really have a discount. And we're going to fix that. One thing that is important for you to remember is that if a reservation is being split because some of it applies a discount and the other one doesn't have a discount, then it will split it into two separate lines on the request. The same thing applies for the availabilities because you could technically have different prices on an availability, on different availabilities. So in other words, these three lines are one reservation, but because they're split between different availabilities and they cross a discount threshold, that's why they're split. Now, in a real case, in a real life scenario, when I give a discount about 1,000 hours, and that's all, we won't see very many reservations like that. Most of them will either be discounted or not, but here, for testing purposes, we try to see all the different scenarios. So this could be the worst case, when one reservation is split into three. Below you can see another request. This one has subsidies applied, and here you can see, discount, taxes and subsidies. Actually, this one doesn't have a discount, but I think down the road I had another one. So these are the details that show on the service request for confirmed reservations. Now we go one step further before you create your billing event, where you can view the charges. So this is what you see on View Charges interface. Okay, somebody submitting bugs, great. Here is what you see on the View Charges. Again, we display the discount, the total, taxes. So it's pretty easy for the manager to see that the calculations are correct, right? So no places for mistakes. Once you go ahead and you want to create your new billing event, you click New Billing Event, you click Load Charges, and here again we display the discount. So all the values are here. 2 hours at $10. Keep in mind 10% discount, that gives you a total of 18. Maybe there is a tax and there is a total. So here you can also see different discounts. We actually have discounts over 20. This was before we fixed the bug when we allowed more than 100% discount. We have disallowed that, so this is all data. And finally, when you create your billing event and you want to see the invoice, here I go. This is an invoice that includes charges with discounts. Even here on the invoice, it's pretty clear to see that if there is a line item with a certain price, it says discounted usage, and it kind of gives some details. What is the discount percent, and what discount group this charge is part of. So for this is again one reservation just split in two because of the discount. A non-discounted reservation just looks normal. A discounted reservation will have some details on why this is discounted. And with this, practically the cycle is ended. We start from the beginning. Do you have any questions?
Peter, I have a question for you, but it's kind of past this, so tell me if I'm too soon. I just wanted to know, I know we were talking about how it didn't initially work into the integrations. Has that been resolved, and will this now feed into the integrations seamlessly?
Correct. Before we release this feature, we would have reviewed most of the integrations. I know there is Stanford integration that is a little bit specific. So I'm not sure about this one. It's right now we are reviewing this one, but most of the integrations will work with that. We have provided the correct values that they need. We might find some, right now Sanjeev is investigating the different integrations and their requirements. For most of them, we're confident it will work just fine. If we find some weird integration, we'll try to communicate it with the integrations teams and fix that as well. But this, once we release it, hopefully very soon, this will be included in that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Audrey, I saw your comment. You mean the final format for the note on the invoice, like this one? It does take a lot of space. I noticed that. We didn't pay too much attention to this one. This was the way it was developed when my team took it over, and to this particular part, we haven't made any changes. But we could. I see how we can do something about it. Thank you for that note, and no problem at all. And one of my ideas with this earlier presentation, again, it's still in development, we still have some things to finish up, is to get your initial feedback, guys. So thank you. I'll take a look into that. Any other questions?
I have one more, Peter, and I'm sorry I was a little late joining from another meeting, but at the beginning, I just wanted to double check that you can also set discounts, not necessarily by hours, but by total cost, correct? Like you can say, once they spend $1,500 in our core, then we will start to discount.
Yes, that is correct. So again, this is set up in the settings, in the overall settings that affect all the discount groups at the core, where you set either hours used or money spent. Perfect. And today, my presentation today was in a core where the setting was hour used, but we have tested the functionality on the core where it's money spent. It works just fine as well.
Thank you. I thought I remembered that from the past. I just wanted to double check. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Any final questions?
Can we test anywhere or play in it anywhere?
Yes, thank you. After this meeting, I'll send an email to you guys with credentials for WebJ. I will include the regular administrator iLab account, maybe a test user, and maybe just the core manager. Elisa, I'm not sure if you heard that, but again, this granularity on the discount group where we can actually give different percents and different rates for price classes and availabilities. This particular section is available only for iLab employees and not for regular core managers.
I did hear that. I think that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. So maybe include a core manager credentials to test, but that's my plan, to send you some credentials. Actually, I would encourage you to log into WebJ and test. Before you submit a bug, let me know. It might be something we are currently working on. Not everything is perfect there. but most of the functionality works just fine. So I'd be very happy if any of you could log in and test. The more things we find before we hand it over to QC, the easier for them, and the shorter time this will spend in QA. So I'd appreciate that.
And then, Peter, how long do you think before we're handing it over to QC?
My hope is that we hand it over to QC either end of this sprint or next sprint. And there it should stay at least couple sprints. And how long until we deploy it largely depends on what they find. I have tried to log in and test. I mean, you guys know that I test, and I go in and test whatever comes to my mind. So most of the things are okay, but you never know. They are experts. They know what they do, so they might find more issues.
Thank you so much for showing us this today. I'm really excited.
No problem. I apologize for my team that this has taken too long. It should have been released much easier, but it was bigger than we expected, and we work with limited resources, unfortunately, but we're doing our best. So look for an email from me with login credentials for this. 5 minutes that I want to give you back, and thank you so much for your attention today.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Peter. Looks really good. Very excited.